Hey guys, what's up? It's Derek with OMG, it's Derek.com, and in today's video, I'm going to list my top 5 favorite books that I've read in 2018. So roll the intro, and let's get started. So I woke up this morning at 5 a.m. to get up and head to the gym to work out with my brother-in-law Keith. And while I was laying in bed fighting the urge to text him and tell him that I couldn't make it this morning, I was scrolling through Instagram and Twitter, and I noticed that Bill Gates had released his annual list of the best books that he read in 2018, and I thought, well, by golly, if Bill Gates can do it, well then I can do it too, because apparently I think I'm the same as Bill Gates. I don't know. We're going to jump into my top 5 favorite books that I read in 2018, and also there's going to be one additional book, a 6th book, that I'd actually read previously. So this wasn't my first time reading it in 2018, so I didn't want to include it in the top 5, but I wanted to go ahead and give it a mention at the end nonetheless. So let's go ahead and dive in. I'd also like to mention that these books are in no particular order, and that any of them that are listed first or last does not necessarily mean that that's how I rated them. These are just, out of all the books that I read this year, 30 to 40 books, these are just the 5 that really stood out to me and really had an impact on my life this year. The first book that stood out to me was written by Walter Isaacson, and it was the biography that he did on Benjamin Franklin called Benjamin Franklin: An American Life. It was a fantastic look into the life of Benjamin Franklin, and the reason that I personally enjoyed this book so much was, number one, I enjoy Walter Isaacson's writing style and the in-depth review that he does when he writes these biographies. I had read previous biographies of his, including the Steve Jobs biography, which was the creator of Apple. But this book specifically stood out to me this year because I saw a lot of who I would like to become in what Benjamin Franklin was. Now obviously, just like anybody, Benjamin Franklin has his weaknesses, but overall, he did a really good job kind of explaining the life of Benjamin Franklin, kind of what motivated Benjamin Franklin, and honestly, I felt that it matched a lot of what I felt inside, and so it was just a very well-written biography. Walter Isaacson always delivers, and if you're interested in learning a little bit about the history of the United States, and specifically interested in learning about one of our founding fathers, the biography of Benjamin Franklin is a definite read. The second book I read this year that really stood out to me was a book by the author Mel Robbins called The 5-Second Rule. The 5-Second Rule is basically, in summary, a book on procrastination and how to beat procrastination. How to actually get yourself to start moving forward in action and not just sitting there thinking about, oh, I want to do this, I wish I could do this, I should do this, and it's a tool designed to help you actually move forward with action and actually complete the things that you want to do. Like many, one of the big weaknesses in my life that I've struggled with is finding the ability to force myself to, get up and go to the gym, as I just joked about at the beginning of this video, to produce videos constantly for my YouTube channel, things like that. And this video is just a rule. The whole book is based upon this 5-second rule, in which as soon as you know that you should do something, you count down from 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you start doing it without thinking about it, you just count down immediately, and then boom, go right into action. And as simple as that sounds, it really is simple. It actually had a big impact on my life and has actually helped me stay very consistent with getting up and going to the gym in the mornings, with going to jiu-jitsu, with creating content. If you've noticed the last couple months, I've been regularly releasing content on my YouTube channel and other platforms, and it was just a great book, and Mel Robbins did a great job explaining it, and not just explaining it because it is a simple rule, but then showing you how to apply it to your life in practical ways. The third book on my list this year is Homo Deus. I think that's how you pronounce it. A Brief History of Tomorrow. This was written by, I can never pronounce this name, so excuse me, I'm going to have to look at it to try to pronounce it. But it's Yuval Noah Harari. I think that's how you pronounce it. But he actually wrote a book previously, I don't know if it was last year or the year before, called Homo Sapiens, which was basically a look at the past of Homo sapiens, humans, up to the present time. And then this book was a sequel to that book in which he discusses where humankind, where mankind is heading in the future. Both books, absolutely fantastic, but this one's on the list because I read it this year. The fourth book I want to recommend to you guys is called Principles by Ray Dalio. If you guys aren't aware of who Ray Dalio is, he has a really big company. I believe it's called BlackRock. Don't quote me on that. But it's a financial company. He works in the financial markets. And as he was running this company over the years, as they ran into issues, as they dealt with different things, whether it was in life, whether it was in the business, Ray had a way of kind of seeing the patterns that kept popping up and then developing these principles to help him deal with them and for his company to deal with them, the employees and all that, as they popped up. And then basically he turned around and released this book sharing with us the principles that he had learned. None of this is necessarily new information in the book. You know, a lot of it's kind of the age-old axioms you've heard your whole life, like, you know, the early bird gets the worm, things like that. But it's just, you know, his way of wording it, his take on them, as he dealt with them, and basically the framework he designed to kind of operate his life and his business. Again, a very interesting read, and I learned a lot from reading this book this year. Fifth and last book in my list would be by Viktor Frankl, called Man's Search for Meaning. This is actually an older book, but it was I was turned on to it through a podcast that I listened to, the Tim Ferriss Show, if you're aware of that or whatever. Viktor Frankl basically recounts his life and what it was like getting sent to a Holocaust camp, a concentration camp, during the Holocaust, and you know, the different things he witnessed, felt, you know, what he got out of the meaning of life out of that, what others at the camp, you know, how they got meaning out of life through such a dark, depressing time. And it's a really, really interesting read, and it'll really change your perspective when it comes to complaining about your own life, and it'll help you realize that life's a lot more than just, you know, the newest iPhone, the newest one wheel, you probably can't see it on the floor, the newest boosted board, or whatever else YouTubers are currently interested in, the newest camera setup, computers. Life is just so much more than that. And this book really talks about kind of that desire that man has to find meaning within his life. And it is an excellent, excellent read. Again, it's not a new book. It didn't come out in 2018. And a couple others of the books on the list I don't think came out in 2018. But it was just one that I read this year, and it was absolutely life-altering for me. All right, guys, and for the bonus book, last but not least, again, I included this book as a bonus book because I had actually read it previously, I believe in 2016, but this year I decided to reread it just because a lot's changed in my life, and it was such a good, powerful book for me in 2016. I believe that's when I read it. It might have been 2017. But either way, it was a life-changing book for me, so I wanted to share it with you guys on this list. And that book is The Power of Now, A Guide to Spiritual Enlightenment by Eckhart Tolle. This book, I grew up in a very religious household. My dad's actually a Christian minister. I grew up, they were very strict in terms of what we could and couldn't do. And just with everything that happened in my childhood, dealing with things in the church, different things that happened, I've always had a real sour taste when it comes to God, religion, spirituality, just ever since I was young. I fought it, I wanted nothing to do with it, but as I've gotten older, I've realized that spirituality is not something you can really get away from. And so I've started reading other books on spirituality, for example, a book called Why Buddhism is True, and this book, The Power of Now, and other spiritual books just to kind of get an understanding. And when I read this book, for me, coming from a Christian background and knowing the Bible scriptures very well, the way he explained things really stood out to me and really made a lot of sense to me. So if you've never checked this book out, in fact, I actually just picked up his second book, or his book that came, I don't know, actually, it might not be his second book. I don't know how many books he has out. But it's the book that came out after The Power of Now, called A New Earth, Awakening Your Life's Purpose. I haven't actually read this one yet, but I'm super excited to read it. But if you are looking for a book about spirituality that doesn't try to force one type of religion down your throat, but instead tries to explain what it is behind all of the Earth's religions that people are trying to get at, then this book, I think, would be a life changer for you as well. Alright guys, so that's it. That's my list of the top 5 books that I read in 2018 with that bonus book. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If it helped you, please give me a thumbs up on the video below. It helps me out so much, you guys don't even know. Also, if you really do enjoy the content, like a lot, then make sure you hit that subscribe button because that helps me out as well. We just crossed 1,000 subscribers. I'm so pumped about that. That was such a huge milestone for me. I just want to thank everybody out there that's supported me, that's supporting my channel, that's subscribed to my channel, that's liking my videos. Whatever it is, if you're supporting me, I just want you to know that I appreciate it so much. You guys are the best, and until next time, peace out everybody.